In this video, we're going to be showing you how do we display the information on the screen to let the user know how much their health they have left and what level of experience they have in order to move up to the next level. So let's show you how we're going to do that. There's three things that we're going to need to do. One is we have to draw on the screen, but we have to know what we're going to draw. So what we're going to draw is a special type of sprite. So I'm going to come over here, go to my sprites inside my asset browser, and I'm going to open up my SPR box. Now, I'm not actually going to go in and modify this box, but I just want to show it to you. This is known as a 9-slice box. And you can see it here. That's because I have multiple slices. This means that I can stretch this box and my corners always stay exactly the same. They don't change. And this becomes a very beneficial use for us for when we put it onto our screen. So this can both grow vertically and horizontally, keeping the rounded edges. The next thing that we're going to need to add is going to be a font. Now we're going to actually have to add this. I'm going to come over here and select fonts from my asset browser. Then click Add, Fonts, and then Create. At this point, I get to choose what font do I want. And I can give it like a font name, like font 1 that I'm using as relative. But font 1 is pretty meh. So I'm going to call this Arial just because I'm going to choose Arial. Now I could choose others that are here. You can see some of them, but I'm just going to pick Arial for simplicity's sake. I can also make some other settings. The one I care about right now is my font size. I'm going to turn that to 24 and I'm going to turn alias to on. When I'm done with that, I'm going to click my X here and that's going to make that window go away. So now I have the box I'm going to use, the font I'm going to use. Now I need to modify some code. And this code is actually going to go inside of my object player. So I can come over here, double click on it from my asset browser. It's going to take me to my code. And I'm going to add a new event handler. I'm going to click plus, draw, and I'm going to choose draw GUI. So this is actually going to draw on the screen. We're not going to be tied to one of our viewports or cameras or anything like that. And we're going to do it in actual pixel size, not the modification based upon the viewport window and the screen size and different things like that. So this is going to be sized just a little bit differently, and I want to keep track of that. Now there's a couple variables that we'll need to create right away inside of our event handler. The first is going to be to define where our objects are going to be located. So I'm going to say var dx equals 16 and var dy equals 16. So this is just going to let me know where is my level bars going to appear. I then need to specify my bar width and my bar height. So now that I have those set, I now have the idea of how big is my bars going to be, both vertically and horizontally, and where the offset is going to be to actually draw them. Now I'm going to set some basic alignment things. So I need to know when I'm writing inside this section, where is my text align? So first I'm going to set my font so it has the ability to do that. And all this comes in through my draw and then something. So I'm going to say draw set font, and you'll notice I have some variables in here. It automatically recognizes my Arial, so I can just kind of double click on that. They can be draw set horizontal align, and this is going to be FA_center. This is a built-in code for us to use. And then draw set vertical line, once again, FA in this case, middle. So this sets my font and where my font's going to display in drawing my little bar. Now I need to define how wide my health bar is going to be. So I go var health bar width. This is going to equal my HP divided by my total HP times my bar width. So what this does is the HP divided by total HP gets me a percentage. What percentage healthy am I? And then we want to display that much percentage of my bar width. I can't just leave that value or say times 100 because my bar width is 256. So if I estimated it to be based upon 100, it wouldn't be right. I'd never be more than about halfway healthy. Likewise, I don't want to hard code in 256 because my bar width might change. Screen resolutions get better, etc., etc. Therefore, I want to specify my bar width and make it so that I can change one variable and it's going to affect throughout. In fact, this is really important because I'm going to use this bar width in more than one place. So let's see how we're going to be using that, what I need to actually draw my bar onto the screen. So now we're going to go ahead and draw the health bar. We're going to do something called draw sprite stretched. Then we're going to specify what sprite, so SPR box, comma, 0. Then our X and Y, so DX. This gives the starting location, and then we're going to specify the height and width. So we're then going to specify bar width, comma, bar height. Hit F5 to run. And now you can see our health bar on the upper right-hand side. Now, this is going to be what the size is overall. So we can put the health inside of it and see a relation. We don't want to just give a size. We need to give kind of an example or definition of how wide is that bar. That way I know if I'm smaller, I get an idea of how small am I. Because no one wants to have to be reading numbers and go, oh, I'm 37%. They want to be able to look at it and kind of instinctively know. So let's add that part. And we're going to do something very, very similar. It's going to be draw sprite again. And we're going to do stretch, but we're going to do stretched extension, EXT. This is going to be the same basic thing. We're going to start with our sprite box, comma, this case 1, comma, dx, dy, comma. Now we're going to do the health bar width, and then we're going to use the height. We're also going to give two more parameters. That is a color and an opacity. So I'm going to specify C red and comma, I'm going to say 0.6 or 60% opacity. Now if I hit F5, you see my bar is overall, I see the red. If I come in here, we'll find a bad guy real quick. And we'll let him attack me. Notice that as he attacks me, my bar is going down. Okay, so that's kind of what I expect. Now let's put some text inside of it. So we're going to come over here and do draw text. I want to put in the middle, so I'm going to say dx plus my bar width divided by 2. So I take my bar width divided by 2, then I move it by my offset. It's essentially what we're doing. And underscore dy plus bar height divided by 2. So this gives me my X and Y. And then I can come in here and say something like health remaining test this real quick. You can kind of see how big it is. That's a little bit big. We might go, oh, that's too big. You know, I don't quite like that. So I could just abbreviate to health, or I could say hit points or something like that. You'll notice that even as my health bar goes down, my text stays the same. So that's okay as far as that goes. Now, what I need to do next is draw my experience bar. This is going to stay about the same as far as the same width and same height, but I need to move it down a little bit. And I'm going to use a different color. So I'm going to take a lot of what I've had and just tweak it a little bit. The first thing I need to do is move my y down. So I'm going to say dy plus equals 8. This is just going to give me a little bit of spacing between my two bars. Then I'm going to specify var xp bar width. This is going to be how wide my experience bar is. And this is going to be experience divided by experience required times my bar width. Much like I had with my health, but now I replace it with experience. Now that I've done this, I can actually come over here and just copy this information and change what needs to be changed. So, Control C, Control V. My top line does not need to change at all. My bottom line, instead of health bar width, I'm going to do XP bar width, my experience bar width. And instead of red, I'm going to pick a different color. You can pick anything you want. I'm going to pick purple, just for something a little bit different. If I want to be really different, I might pick green or blue. That's okay too. And then instead of my hit points, I'm going to say experience. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to reset my drawing alignment. Up above, you can see I have draw set H line or horizontal alignment and V line or vertical alignment. So I'm going to come in here, copy and paste these down below. Instead of FA center, I'm going to do FA left for my horizontal alignment and FA bottom for my vertical alignment. That's going back to the defaults. Press F5 so I can test this out. You can see my experience is not quite far enough down. We can adjust that. I see my first bad guy. And kill him real quickly. You can see my experience start to grow. Come over here. Okay, now my experience bar reset all the way over there. It's like, oh, wait a second. Why did it reset? Well, it's because I leveled up, but I don't know what level I'm on. So let's make two little changes so that we first get moved down a little bit further, and second, we can see what level we're at. Okay, so we're going to come back in here, and instead of saying dy plus equals 8, we're going to say 8 plus our bar height. So this will make sure we move all the way down. And then instead of experience, I want to say level, and then we'll specify what level we're on. But to do that, I don't know what the level is. So we're going to put a $sign in front of this, level, and then inside here, I'm going to put some braces and level. Now, if I come in here and hit F5, you can see I move my bar down. So I remember to take the height of my first bar and then move it a little bit below it. It shows me level 1. He hit me, so I lost some hit points, but I killed him, so I leveled, or I got some experience points in my first level. And you can see when I killed the last guy there, it gave me level 2, a reset. So I'm growing in level 2, and it reset my health or my hit points, so it fully came up. So you can see there I had those both values help me out. Because when I level up, killing my next enemy is going to be easier because my damage increased. So as I increase my experience, I want to increase the complexity and difficulty of my enemies. And so I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video, which is coming up next.